All right, let's get started again. I really don't think you're going to have any trouble with any of the 5 parts of the verbs, especially not the person, first, second, third person, especially not the number, singular, plural. Those are pretty common. You're going to be very comfortable with them. And you're not going to have any real trouble with the voice, because most of the time you're dealing with the active voice, and it's so intuitive, it's just natural. And even the passive voice, for the most part, is pretty natural. The middle, every now and then, is a little bit funny, but you don't see it as often. You're not going to have to worry about it too much. What I want to spend some time on that's really critical is understanding the relationship between tense and mood. We got our 5 fingers, right? So we got tense, mood, tense, voice, mood, number, and person and number. And so it's the relationship between the tense and the mood that becomes extremely important. If we look at our little drawing here, I got this from one of the, well, actually from the grammar book we read yesterday. You look at the blue, and the blue's in an indicative mood. And there's 15,618 verbs that are in the indicative mood. You don't know what that is yet, but just know that there's a lot of them. It's in that mood. That mood's really important. But what's also important in that mood is the relationship it has with the tenses. You have present tense, aorist tense, imperfect tense, future tense, perfect tense, and pluperfect tense. 6 tenses. We're only going to look at 5 of them. And not all 5 apply in every mood. So you look at how many of these indicative moods are in the aorist tense or in the present tense. There's a lot in these 2. That's where the bulk of it is. Yes, ma'am?
What is aorist?
We're going to get there. Right now it's just a word. And so then we look at some of the other, we're not going to look at participles. They are a verb form. But we're not going to really focus on participles. We're not going to look at infinitives. They are a verb form, but we're not going to go there in this class. We are going to look at subjunctive moods. So we're going to look at indicative, and we're going to look at subjunctive moods. But we see subjunctive moods really are not as many, mostly in the aorist and mostly in the present. A little bit in this perfect. There's not very many of them. And then we're going to look in the imperative mood. And in the imperative mood, most of them in the aorist and the present as well, and that's pretty much maybe a little bit in the perfect, not much. We're going to ignore the operative mood. I'll tell you what it is later, because there's only 68 of them. And you know, when you got 139,000 words in the New Testament, I'm not going to focus on those 68 at this point. So it's just not really going to drive the answer. So what we want to do is look at the tenses and the moods and how they work. 5 parts of the verb, right? Tense, voice, mood, person, and number. We want to look at how that mood and that tense works together and what it really means when you translate. First thing I'm going to do is kind of spend a little bit of time with the mood.